Yeah, this is the shirt I wore this in the Texas game. Haven't worn it since. Never know. Bear with me here, yeah. Well, we all of you guys who are kind enough to come to our practice and get to know our teams, we've been dancing around this for the whole week about how important this game was, and I've tried to limit the amount of pressure I put on the team by saying all the games are important as they are, but this was an important win from us from a lot of different standpoints. First and foremost, getting a win when you haven't won one in a few, and we certainly had gotten used to not losing more than one or two games in a row, so this was new territory we were in, and we had to learn how to bounce our way out of that. Secondly, you guys have heard me talk about how hard these guys have been working in spite of the sort of bad luck we've had over the past few games. And they did it again this week. They came to work on Monday as if they were like, okay, well, we're back home. We got to win. We got to get back to work. And, you know, it's remarkable to me as their coach to see them with that kind of, in some ways they can be so mature, in some ways they can be immature, but that's such a mature attitude to take in this situation because there's a lot of pressure on those guys. They want to do well not only for themselves and those guys in the locker room, but they want to do well for these fans. They're really enjoying these crowds we're having. They want to do well for their families. I mean, it's a lot of pressure on some young guys. So to see them come out and go to work every day, it's big. So with that, I'll just open it up for questions. I'm sure you guys want to talk about some other stuff.
What do you think was the key when you're finally able to get some separation in the second half?
Oh, the key was finally getting them to not score. I mean, it seemed like they were shooting 75% from the field in the first half, and then we got right sort of in the middle of the second half. I don't know the timing, but I know it was before 10 minutes, so it must have been 11 or 12 minutes where we got a couple to a few stops in a row, and then we converted on the offensive end and we were able to take it out to about 8 points. And then it was at 8 for a little while, and then we stretched it to about 10 or 11. I think that was the key, that slot right there in the game, and it's what good teams do when they have an opportunity. They seize upon it, and our guys did a great job, and it made them call a couple of timeouts that they didn't want to call, and that helped us, as you could see toward the end of the game.
Do any of the players or yourself find, the 13-game streak, are they even aware of that, and did that impact the game?
Well, I was not until I did an interview with Mike Parker right before the game, and he reminded me of that. I don't think the guys really pay attention to those kind of stats unless somebody happens to Facebook them or tweet them or something like that. They're not statistic guys in that way. But hey, it's fantastic to finally get a win against a program is steeped in such tradition. We've had a tough time with those guys. I thought we could have beaten them last year, and the ball bounced the wrong way a couple of times. So it was really nice for us to be able to beat them, and do it at a time where we had to win a game. So it's a nice win for us.
Despite the 84 points, defense was kind of your thing this week going into this game. How do you think the defense played?
I think there were still some lapses here and there, but when we had to play it and we went man against them, I thought we did a great job. I thought in that section of the game where we got some separation, we got a few stops in a row. And you're going to, in this conference and in college basketball, when you play against elite high majors, they're going to score. It was nice to be able to stop them and then score on our end and just spread it out a little bit.
You talk about that you had 20 points off of turnovers. I mean, what's the key to that? Just energy, confidence, communication, or what?
Well, I always think that what happens with turnovers is you're playing hard and you force guys to make mistakes. Then there's a second part that we want to take advantage of, is that we don't just want to get them to make a mistake and then go down and make our own mistake. When we get a turnover, we try our best to run something that we know where we can get something out of it, whether it's a good shot, a layup, a foul, something where we can make it a positive event for us. And in this game, when you have we both had about the same number of turnovers, but our points off turnovers were the difference. We had 20, and they only had 5. That's a big deal. That's one of those stats that we pay close attention to.
Coach, earlier in the week, you said keeping this win was to not get taken to town down low by their post game. What was the key to slowing them down, big guys like Josh?
It started out like they were going to do whatever they wanted down there. We just had to make a couple of adjustments, and I thought our guys did a pretty good job because that's a very physical team, and it's one of the teams in the league that really matches up with us from a length standpoint. But I thought the guys just focused more on pressuring the ball so the pass would be harder, and then playing their guy once he got the ball down there.
What's the key to repeating this kind of performance game after game?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the biggest thing is the confidence that comes with winning and beating a team that's doing well in our conference. That's first and foremost. The second thing is execution. We've still got to get better with our defense. I mean, when you are as efficient as we are on offense, your defense, just from a human nature standpoint, ends up being secondary. And we need it to be, instead of first and second, we need it to be 1A and 1B.
As a coach, did you want this game more than any other game in a while here?
From what standpoint? Just because we hadn't beaten them, or?
Feeling the pressure of really needing a win?
Yes. Yeah, I wanted to win this game. As I said, these guys operate the way a coach wants his team to operate. They come to work. They work on their craft. They are doing all the right things off the court. I mean, this is the kind of team that you sort of, when you're trying to turn a program around, you need a lot of things to go right and very few things to go wrong. This team they've held up their end of the bargain so far. So it's important, in order to take advantage of all the work they've put in, to win the games. And we've lost a couple of close ones, so that this one was really important from my standpoint, because I wanted them to get back on the right track and feel good about themselves.
What worked so well for Devon, especially in that first half?
I thought Devon was aggressive. I thought that the games when we took him out of the starting lineup, it was because the games prior to that, he wasn't his typical aggressive nature on both offense and defense. And today he just came out very aggressively. And when you have a guy who can get points for you like that in the low post, it opens up everybody else.
What do you attribute that aggression to?
Well, number one, his dad and his brother are in town, and his dad is much harder on him than I am, and I'm hard on him. That's number one. Number two is just he's evolving as a player. He had a couple of bad games, so he had to kind of refocus and watch some tape and work on some things and get back into the groove.
Winless SC team comes in. They played Oregon close tonight. I know you guys are still kind of at the bottom of the conference right now, trying to work your way back up, but how do you avoid sort of a letdown against a team that's going to be super hungry to get a first win?
Well, we avoid a letdown because we're super hungry to get another win. That's one way. The second way is just executing the game plan like we did tonight, and even as a matter of fact, learning from some of the things that we didn't do right tonight and fixing those, and then coming out being ready to play against a team who's desperate to win a game.
What are your thoughts on the Ware brothers?
I think they are extremely skilled guys. This was my first time seeing them since they were in high school. I can't tell them apart, but I think they're both very capable of shooting the ball from the outside. They have nice post moves. They have good athleticism. They have good size. And, I think anybody would love to have a pair of those guys on their team. So, I think they're pretty good.
That's good.
That it? Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you guys.